I ruined my life. Oh, hey, yeah, been a minute. Things have been rough. Been real rough. I have wanted to do this video for a while. There's some things that you might be able to learn from me and my mistakes in my past, financially, addiction wise, and moving forward into the future. So stick with me. Let's talk about it. I'm in my late 30s. I'm pushing 40 now. I've had a lot of problems in my past, and I ruined my life, essentially. What I mean by I ruined my life is monetarily, I royally myself. As a teenager and into my 20s, I did things that were counterintuitive to somebody my age now. My thought process would be totally different than what it was back then. So I'm going to go over a few of the things that I've done to completely destroy myself, and how how did I get here? We'll start with this. I am about $40,000 in debt without assets to show for any of that debt. Some of this is medical bills, some of this is taxes, and some of this is student loans. Now, it all starts with, at 18 years old, I got 3 in-store credit cards. One at Target, one at Sears, and one at Nordstrom's. Now, these all have 28% interest or greater. All of these cards when I was 18, when I got them. So, from there, I was paying them each month the minimum payment that you're supposed to make. And I felt like I was doing it right. I was doing the correct thing. But I also was paying just the minimum. I was paying a lot less than what I should have been paying. When I got these cards, it was because I was going on a cruise. I had won a cruise through my job. And I thought, I need nicer clothes. I want a camera. I want some things to be able to enjoy it more. And I got $1,000 credit card through my bank. Good, great. It's perfectly fine if you pay the payments on time. And now, as an adult, realize pay more than the minimum payment, because most of the time the minimum payment is just the interest. Just the interest. Especially when you have a higher limit card and, minimum payment is a little bit above the interest. Maybe it's not just the interest, but it's not a lot. With that, I was making the payments. I went through a breakup, and here started the downward spiral. At 19, I quit my job because I had some problems with the job. I was working at a furniture moving company, doing repossessions and deliveries. It became dangerous. Let's just say that. I won't go into detail of what happened, but it wasn't worth $8 to $9 an hour. I needed to quit. I was working 12 to 16 hours every day, going home, drinking all the time, partying all the time, and then going back to work on 2 to 3 hours of sleep. It's not healthy. Nobody will ever convince me that it's a healthy lifestyle. So I quit the job. Roughly, I had my CDL from this job. It took me not very long to find a new place of employment, but I was doing it through a day labor place. Since I had the CDL, they put me on a job that was paying $14 an hour, and I started working there. So I never defaulted on the payments on any of these cards. I was also paying monthly household bills and things. And I was able to save a little bit of money here and there and buy the things that I wanted. Then the day labor thing doesn't pan out. Like, the place they're sending me at doesn't need people anymore. So I'm on a standby. It took 2 months. I had to apply at everywhere I could. I was a high school dropout. So starting from the beginning, I dropped out of high school in ninth grade. There was many reasons. I always say it was to help pay bills and things like that at the house because my dad got hurt. My mom wasn't working. There was a lot of reasons. Okay, but the biggest one was I fucking hated school. A large number of the people that went to the school that I went to, and I had went to 15 different schools by ninth grade, they all despised me and thought I was scary or creepy and fat and all these things. So I just hated it. I did all my homework. I hated the teachers. I hated the principals. I would do all of my homework and put it in my locker. I wouldn't turn it in. I would do it, but I wouldn't turn it in. That's f***ing stupid. So that pushed me into working full-time at 14, 15 years old at McDonald's. I moved on from there, got a job delivering furniture after a few odd jobs in between. Quit that job. Now I went to the day labor thing, didn't pan out. So I had to find another place. It took 2 months to find another job, full-time employment, and I was getting paid $10 an hour to load people's vehicles at a farm store and also maintain feed levels inside the store. So I have a job, everything's fine, right? Well, I had 2 months where I missed payments. The guy called and said, as soon as I get a job, I will start making the payments again. I will not default. I start making the payments again. I start giving them the money that they are owed, and I continue to work this job. I spend a lot on fun things, It's just what I did. I turned 21, and here's the big thing that ruined my life. The biggest thing that ruined my life. I was still drinking and partying. I had quit doing any kind of drugs. I wouldn't even smoke weed. But at 21, I gambled for the first time. I put money into a machine, $20, and I won $500. $500. And I was making $10 an hour. So that's good money. It's a lot of money for, a 21-year-old who makes $10 an hour. That's a great deal of money. And I thought, self, can we do this all the time? Yes, all the time. Should we do this all the time? Why the wouldn't you? And that began my horrible addiction to gambling. Within this addiction to gambling, for the first year or so, I was maintaining. I was still paying all my bills, maintaining all my credit card payments and things. Because as a person like I am, you get a credit card, you max it out immediately. Max that shit out. You don't, use it normally like most people, where you buy a little bit, whatever you need, emergencies, maybe things like that. No, you get $200 paid down on it. You have $200 left to spend on this credit card now. Guess what you do? You can spend it. I am at the will of this beast inside of me for the gambling, but at the same time, I'm maintaining. I'm still drinking. I'm still partying. I'm still doing stupid stuff. I meet my wife at the same time I start my gambling addiction. We have a rocky start. We break up multiple times. We're dating for the most part. Since we met, we've been dating or married the entire time, but we've had a lot of breakups. A lot. Recently, none. But it was constant anxiety and stress between us. We both, always thought we were right. We were narcissistic in our ways. The gambling gets worse. I'm no longer just gambling because it's a compulsion. I'm gambling to get away from the problems at home. I'm gambling to get out of fights. I'm gambling because I've gambled and now I need to get the money back that I gambled, which is fucking stupid. Don't ever do that. It's ridiculous. So I start taking full checks. Fuck the bills, other than my household bills that I have to pay. the bills. I default on all the cards. I ruin myself. I continue this trajectory all the way up until last year, basically. Every job I have, I blow almost all of my money. There's months, yeah, sure, that I'll have my checks and I'll pay what I need to pay. But even then, after things that were paid, I'd still go blow all the money. Defaulting on all these cards, defaulting on the next set of cards, and continually going back to credit for my needs that I can't afford when I was perfectly capable of making enough money to live on and survive on. I should own a house, I should have vehicles, all of these things, but I don't. I've had 2 cars repoed because of gambling, but also because I always use credit. Now I'm skipping because at 22 I got a job at a mill making $21 an hour in 2008. $21 in 2008 money is like making $35 an hour right now. It was big money, more money than I'd ever seen. And there was a lot of overtime. I was working 12-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts, sometimes 7 days a week. Nights, days, nights. It was 2 days, 2 nights was the standard shift. But it usually ended up being like 3 days, 4 nights, have a day and a half off, go back to work. That was kind of standard out there. Made a lot of money doing that. I made over $65,000 a year a couple of years there. I progressed up the ladder within the union and was making $25.98 or $28 depending on the job I was doing by the time I ended up hurting my back and leaving that job. Part of why I left that job, gambling. So I had gambled so much that my checks were being attached. People were getting judgments against me. And this is what happens when you default on payments. They go to court and they make you pay. You get a court order that takes 25% of your gross income. And that's fine until you have multiples of those. And they also can take part of your bank account or control your entire bank account. Lesson learned, right? You need to learn this. If you're going to survive as an adult and not have to constantly struggle to dig yourself out of a hole, and this hole isn't just fueled by gambling, this is poor financial foresight. I literally took $1,800 check. I went to a place that sells cigarettes but has machines that you can put money in, push button, bloop, maybe get a little bit of money back from, and I would throw everything away. I would win. I would even win. I would fucking win. Like, there were so many times I could have walked out of there up $1,200 off of $100 or $200, but instead I sat my ass there and I played the game like it was a fucking video game that I had to play. Why? These things are huge in how I ruin my life. So when you're feeling like that and you're stressed and you've taken out loans for things you don't need, you want them, you don't need them, you blow it. Especially if you have a gambling addiction, you blow it. Now, couple that, breaking the back, can't do the job anymore, can't get on short-term disability because they won't even do a scan for my back. It took 7 years, 7 fucking years, and 4 doctors to get a CT scan of my spine. And having 2 broken vertebrae, slip discs, stenosis all throughout, and sciatica so bad that my leg goes numb, I piss my pants and I fall down. It took all of that to get the correct scans. By then, there's the damage is done. I went to work at another mill at a way less physical job, but I had some heart issues at that job because of the stress of the job. Now, this is all complaining. This is all stuff, if you watch my channel, you know this. Theoretically, at this job as well, I should have been able to pay all my bills, pay off the things that I still owed, because a lot of those credit cards, those 18-year-old stupid cards that I got from stores, were either charged off or paid back completely by then. I had write-offs from those. I had write-offs from newer credit cards. I had to write off a truck that I was buying that I defaulted on that got repossessed. And now I have a car that in 2018 got repossessed. Same thing, gambling. It all goes back to gambling, not being good with money, not being frugal, purchasing things that are absolutely unnecessary. So along that same path, my weight is continuing to go up. I am ballooning. I was 270 pounds when I hurt my back. I was in the gym, hours a day, before work, after work, in between work, whatever. Whenever I could get in, I was in the gym, lifting heavy and doing it right. Ooh. But the next thing I knew, my back's fucked. I can hardly walk. I take that time to say, oh, woe's me. Pity for myself. I'm hurt now. I don't have to go spend hours at the gym. I'm in pain. Pizza, donuts, ice cream, sugar, anything that is sugar, anything that turns to sugar. I just start, can't get enough of it. Love it. Wanted it in my life all the time. It's terrible. It's stupid. Continue on that path. Now, I'm here, present day, right now, in front of you. 430 pounds, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. Finally getting myself back on track, going through school. This term has been a fucking nightmare. It has tested me so hard, and I'm barely keeping caught up in 2 of my classes, and I'm way behind another class. I'm fighting, and I'm going to get back in that lane and ride this out. My degree is just a few months away. I've got to financially unburden myself as well. So I've got a few plans that I plan on sharing in future videos, but I wanted to give a little backstory on how I came to the fucked up state that I am today, and how I plan on getting out of it will be in the next video in this series. I started this channel with my initials and 360 meaning my entire life around. So I'm trying to be as clear as possible and let you all know what's happened, why I'm at the state I'm at. I have things now. I have some nice things. I'm paying off the debts that I owe. I owe back taxes and these medical bills. Medical bills are a huge thing, and I'm working within the constraints of what we have here in America. So medical bills can ruin you. They can destroy you. Have insurance. Make sure the insurance has a low enough deductible that you can make that deductible feasibly. You can pay that deductible, by a year end. If you work at a job where you're there for 12 to 16 hours a day and then have to drive home, your car insurance covers you at work. Workers' comp insurance covers you. But when you get home and you're tired and you can slip and you can fracture things and you knock all your teeth out, all your teeth, it is best to go with the lowest deductible possible within reasonable means. Out at the mill, when I hurt my back, I had a $5,000 deductible, but I was paying $400 a month for the insurance. These are all things that you, if you're a younger viewer, need to examine in your life. When you're working, when you're accepting a job, ask about the insurance. And if you're going into business for yourself, make sure to examine loans if you're taking loans. Make sure the interest is not something that is going to be too overbearing for you to overcome. If you take a $10,000 loan with 30% interest, it's not just $10,000 plus 30% on top of that. And I've looked into it. I don't know it well enough to explain it right now, but maybe in another video down the road, we'll go into it and go over it and look at how it actually affects the price of the home or the price of the vehicle that you're going into. Don't do what I did. Look into things before you get into them. Don't just get excited. And I know mania overcomes most people. Mania being that things, I need to do it now. I have to do it now. I have to. I want it. I need it. Don't listen to that. Overcome that. Do better than I have. And in my next few videos in this series, my channel is everything with me, and my brain is going a million miles a minute all the time. I will continue on this journey of bettering myself, and I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. So I hope you'll come along with me. I love you all. Look me in my eyes. I love you. Have a great day.